I was just reflecting on something as I was writing in my journal this afternoon. And I thought about how I have felt my life has always worked. I've always had this living by faith type of life, as in I never know 10 steps down the road. I know this might be different to how you've lived your life, but for me, the reality I'm thinking of the time I went to uni, this is in England, so we call it university, or finances for that, or getting my first apartment or anything like that. It was never the thing of I had this plan and then I executed on it and I can say I worked this plan and it worked great. It was always a thing of I have this idea that seems completely out of this world or completely impossible. And that's not because it's huge, it's just either I wouldn't be positioned for it, or it wouldn't be ideal, or I would not be the ideal candidate, or things like that. And I would think, it feels real and true for me, so I need to just go and act on this, because it's all that I know at the time, and I want to act on it because I want it to be true. I want it to come true because it feels real to me, because it comes from here. And that's pretty much how my life has panned out up to now. And I was thinking about what I was reflecting on earlier this year, and just this journey of living to what truly makes sense for me, business-wise, with family, with my kids. And I lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was thinking. And no, I remember now what I was thinking of, why I wanted to make this video. Because to me, I thought that was just a transition to coming to this place. And once I come there, my life will look like everybody else. Because in my head, I always thought being a grown-up, being an adult person, meant you have all these 10 steps ahead and you execute through them nicely and you get to this goal. And I just thought, maybe the way I live my life, it seems really like out there. Maybe it's just a phase, and I'll come to be in this place where everybody else seems to be living their life that way. You know, they're planners, and I'm a planner too, and I like to plan ahead. But there's something about that never quite fit into how anything worked out. So even though this was an aspirational for me, it's not how it planned out. And part of me started to think I was failing. Like I thought, maybe I need some sort of a skill to become this type of person. Like I was somehow failing because my life worked different. It didn't look like everybody else that I know. And I thought something was wrong with me because I didn't want to work it that way. Or my life never really worked out that way. Even things that were out there, they came very easily. I usually never had to force anything or struggle for it, even though it looked completely impossible. It would just happen. It would be effortless. It would be really like easygoing. So I thought, is something off? An analogy that came to me as I was writing in my journal just now is this idea of, I wanted to quantify something. I think what I was looking for, and I thought about this, when you go fast food or you go buy food somewhere and you buy your meal and they give you the cup. They give you the cup and say, go fill, you go to the fountain, the drink fountain, fill what you want, right? I think in my head, I wanted to be the cup, 20 ounce, 16 ounce, whatever it is. I want to fill it by drink so I can look at it and say, this is what my life is. Like I have something tangible to look at and say, this is making sense. This is what my life is. But I have always been the tap, the outlet. I think you would call it faucet type of a being. I think that's how I'm created. I don't have anything to quantify. I can't even tell you how much has come through me. And I never know what's going to come through me. It's almost like the tap doesn't really get to choose what drink comes through it, what type, what consistency of sugar to the water, to the carbonated water. You just never know, but there's nothing to quantify. And you almost feel, if you look at all the cups, you're like, I have a job. I have a purpose here. I'm dispensing this drink. I just don't have a way to value how much I have done because I can't see it, right? Like in that sense, right? Like when people have this structured way and they're working through their 10-year plan or whatever, and they have this, seems like a way they can quantify what they're working towards. And I'm one of those people that go by, I think I want to do this. And it comes effortlessly and it goes and it's finished. And I'm thinking something else is going to come and I'm going to do it. And I thought, me being that sort of a being, I needed to be something else. I needed to quantify something. I think I thought I needed to, that would be, me quantifying it would be some sort of an identity. I can say, I'm a Coke, I'm a Sprite. I'm just still going with the analogy of like a fountain drink. And if I think of a different analogy, I'll probably share that. But it would give me a boost of like, oh, that's what I can identify myself as. And when I thought about that, I thought, isn't that silly how we can compare ourselves and feel somehow inferior or kind of lost while all along you've had a purpose that you've executed beautifully, that has worked really well for you. You have done that which you were supposed to do, and yet you feel like you didn't, just because it didn't look like somebody else's. So my takeaway from what I was reflecting and what I want to kind of encourage for you is, whether it's your personal life, whether it's your business, see if you can differentiate what is really you and what you're trying to adapt because it's what seems to be other people's way of quantifying their success. Because maybe like me, you are like a little odd duck that even your own ideas of what success looks like might be different. And therefore you start questioning, is it just as good as? Is it as successful as? Is it as purposeful as something else? And the temptation comes to add elements that can feel very heavy to take on because we were never supposed. It's like that fountain trying to think, I want to be able to just hold a drink. And it's not its purpose. It's not designed to be that way. It's supposed to just be a way for the drink to come through. And if you know a better word for that thing, I have no idea what it's called. English is not my first language. Swahili is. I'm originally from Tanzania, so there you go. Take a little time to reflect. If you've had this disconnect, or you feel overwhelmed, or you feel like certain things just don't fit, but you feel like it's something you have to do for your business, for your personal life, I just want to encourage you to take a little time, maybe write in a journal or speak to someone about it, or role play, whatever things that you can hear yourself out loud, like you can take the thoughts out of your mind. I've found really helpful. Maybe you might too. That can help you see which parts are yours, which parts are you perhaps borrowing from other people, which is not necessarily bad, unless it's really not working in line with the way you were designed. And I think we all design so uniquely. And it's a beautiful thing when we can get to a place we embrace that uniqueness and we get to go, because then we're not fighting against our makeup. We're not fighting against how we are naturally. So everything is not such a huge effort because we're trying to be something else. It just becomes more of a natural flow for us. And this is such a huge thing for me as I am kind of exploring these ideas of contentment, stripping things back, running working for myself in a way that makes sense for me and still build a profitable business. So as we go, I'm going to share more about how that's coming along, whether it will be a huge fail or it will be a huge success. Who knows? We're going to see. I don't believe there's any such thing as failure or success. I think it's just feedback for whatever you're supposed to go. Nothing is a failure. Nothing is really a success. It's just you keep going forever until the day you take your last breath. You're just going. So what was success? What was failure? It was just another stepping stone to whatever you're supposed to go. It's just feedback to say, not this way, this way. And if you call it success, it's just a simple way to say, yeah, you're going the right direction. What you call failure is just a little feedback to say, no, maybe go a different direction. So let me put it this way. So I will see what direction this will probably take me, and share with you. And hopefully I can get to learn more about you guys and what journeys you might be taking too. Okay? That's all I have for today. Just remember to be. Being is more important than doing. So remember to be in everything you exploring today. All right. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.